Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Dylan Silver, and today on the show I have Cody Stegeman in Minnesota, a real estate entrepreneur. Cody, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your journey into the real estate space. People oftentimes see the success, they don't see the beginning. How did you get into the real estate space? Was it in your blood?
Honestly, what ended up happening was I had a construction background, and I knew I wanted to get into the real estate space. I had some kind of adjacent acquaintances that I had seen had built some very real wealth through real estate, and I kind of always aspired to be like them, or thought that was the pathway that made sense. So with my construction background, I actually paired with someone else that had some money, and I did my first flip. So I actually started out rehabbing exclusively when I had first gotten into it. And like I said, I just went the route of partnering with somebody that had some money, and then I provided the skills.
So when you're coming from the construction background, as a lot of people do, was it always in your mind, hey, I'm going to go into the real estate investing space, or was that not on the radar when you got in?
It wasn't on the radar when I initially had gotten in, but as I had progressed, and like most people, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which of course I think starts a lot of people on this journey, funny enough. But it had kind of set my sights on understanding that I just didn't want to work a regular job indefinitely, that I needed to start steering my path towards something that was going to generate some real long-term wealth and allow me to have some time and financial freedom.
So that first flip, you mentioned you partnered with someone. How did you find that person? What was like building that relationship, and how did that first deal come about?
Yeah, so actually, funny enough, it was someone in my natural market. I knew I wanted to get into the space to do it. I just started asking pretty much everybody I knew, hoping that I could find somebody that was willing to do it. And I actually identified a couple of potential deals, and they were lower price deals. So it was really approachable. I mean, the first property we bought, I think we bought it for, it was like $44,000 or $45,000. So the amount needed down was pretty negligible. So yeah, I just started asking people in my network, and I made sure when I presented myself at that point, I had done enough research that I obviously knew what I was talking about in some capacity, just because you can't start asking people for money if you don't know what you're going to do. You don't have a plan. You don't know how pricing works, right? But yeah, I had educated myself enough at that point. I felt confident that I could reach out to other people to get money from somebody.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So at that point, you're talking about, hey, let's do a fix and flip deal. What information are you providing to these people? Let's do a dive in of this here, Cody, to make it compelling for them. And how did those conversations end up coming about? You mentioned you were asking everybody. So how did that end up transpiring for you?
Yeah, so honestly, initially what I did when I told people, I said, hey, these are the resources that I've been diving into. I referenced, hey, I've read these books. I've listened to X hours of podcasts. I've watched YouTube videos. Like, I honestly would start off by referencing, hey, I have not done a deal yet, but this is all of the content that I have digested. And then I gave them the game plan where I said, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to find a property that is distressed or run down. And I explained how comping worked. So I said, hey, we're going to find a place that has this much margin, and then we'll be able to buy it, renovate it, and sell it. So I provided as much information as possible. So for me on that first one, I actually had already found that deal that I wanted to make work. So I tried to move pretty quickly because I'd identified the deal and I was like, hey, these numbers make sense. I had spoken to a realtor. I had him put like a CMA and everything together. So I had actual hard reference materials that I brought to these people that I wanted to talk to, where I said, hey, these are the comps. This is what they're asking. This is what it's going to cost to renovate, blah, blah, blah. And it presented all of that to them to try to assuage any fears they had from getting into it. And I also, too, was very vocal that, hey, you are the first person that gets their money back, obviously after the bank loan, where I won't take a penny before you get your seed money back. Just because, obviously, when you're operating from a place of a lack of experience, a lot of times you have to be willing to give up, a bigger portion of the deal to get started, which I think sometimes people are averse to, but the reality is getting to do a deal is invaluable. So, I mean, if you have to give up the majority of what would be profit just to be able to get to go through the process of the deal, I totally think it's worth it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I've spoken to people. I think people are kind of split on this about, hey, if you lose money on your first deal, look at it as a learning experience. I don't believe that. I believe if your first deal, you should be making money on that first deal personally. Otherwise, you got to go in knowing, hey, I could lose this money and I'm okay with it, but knowing what I know, all the wholesale, I'm not comfortable with that. But I see both sides. So
I think the goal should be to never lose money, of course.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But I've spoken to so many people, as I'm sure you have, in the fix and flip where they've lost money on their first flip.
Oh, yeah.
So I say, I get it. But Cody, pivoting to this individual who you was your first partner in this, you were explaining comping to them. So I'm imagining not a real estate guy or gal.
Yes.
Okay, so when you approached them, was it friend of a friend? Was it another contractor with you? How did this? What was
it was actually a friend of mine.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So oftentimes people are a little bit, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but proceed with a lot of caution because they don't want to kind of burn a bridge there.
For sure.
How did you approach it in a sense of, were you just like really upfront, or was it kind of like a drip campaign with your friends?
Honestly, I prefer hyper transparency because even the first time I used a hard money lender, I hadn't done a ton of deals, and I that relationship I think worked because I told him, hey, I haven't done very many deals, but this is what I'm doing. So I think that hyper transparency goes a long way for most people. And like I said, I just presented it as, hey, this is the data that I have digested. And like, I am very confident in X, Y, and Z, and I provided as much information as possible to them to make them feel comfortable. And of course, I mean, I had a lot of people tell me no as well. I am not, I've had a lot of no's over the years, when presenting like investment opportunities to people. But I think if you're going to be in this space, you have to learn to have those uncomfortable conversations, to be willing to hear no.
I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is, as a salesperson, right? I'm a sales guy before I got into real estate, selling cars. Now, real estate agent, wholesaler. You have to kind of rewire your brain to hear no as not such a negative thing, because we all kind of have this. I'm really deep into this sales psychology. We all kind of have this ingrained fear of ostracism or of people rejecting us. And like, if we burn our inner circle, if we're going to friends and family and they're all like, no, that could feel like despair. Like, what are we going to do? Right. But on the other hand, if we go through everybody and, like you said, complete transparency, and we get all these no's, then that's feedback for us that, hey, maybe we could tweak this. And then also, too, maybe that next person that you ask says yes.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
For sure. Well, and I mean, I actually have a sales background as well. Before I had started this, I did copier and printer sales for a while.
Oh, wow.
So I became very used to no. And to be honest, I just think of every no is just closer to the next yes. I mean, realistically. So it's just a matter of reps and not letting it bother you.
Yeah, that's 100%. And you know what? It's easier said than done for a lot of people.
Oh, hey, that is true.
A lot of people say I would never do sales, but then salespeople say that's what gets us going. Let's talk about the property that you fix and flip, that first deal. So you found the partner, but you mentioned you found the property. How did you find that property?
So I actually just started asking around. I connected with a couple other investors in the area, and I found an agent that some of them had worked with. And that's actually my recommendation too. Like if someone's getting started in this, reach out to your local network of investors. A lot of them are very willing to help. And by doing that, I found an agent that had some semblance of an idea of how, real estate investing actually worked, just because a lot of agents, unfortunately, do not understand a lot of those specifics and the inner workings of investing. But so I connected with that agent, kind of gave him my my buy box for what I was looking for, and then he just started presenting properties to me, and I started underwriting them.
That's phenomenal. And I completely agree with you. Actually, I've looked into what type of certifications can I get as an investor agent type of deal to kind of bridge the gaps.
For sure.
I'm sure you've seen this, that
Oh, yeah.
in the investing, in the real estate agent, and then definitely in my world, the wholesale world, there seems to be almost like, I don't want to say conflict, but something along those lines. I remember going to real estate school, Cody, and people found out that I was a wholesaler, like shock, horror.
Oh, yeah.
So you must have some experience with that as an
Oh,
investor.
for sure. It's an evil word to some realtors if they don't understand. It's so funny because I've done some wholesaling as well, and it cracks me up where I've had agents be like, who? What? Just they hate the idea. They don't understand it, and I think that scares them a little bit. And then there's this kind of ingrained aversion to it. But
yeah, I would say definitely. I'm in Texas. I can't speak for Minnesota than through the wonderful guests that I've had. By the way, every guest that I've had in Minnesota, yourself included, has been friendly, has been a great guest. Is there something in the water in Minnesota?
Right.
Is this just
it's Minnesota nice, I guess, man.
I've never been to Minnesota. Are we going to see is there a lot of migration to Minnesota right now?
It seems like it is picking up a little bit just because the quality of the state is really nice, and it actually has one of the best income to cost of living ratios in the U.S.
Really?
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's very deceptive because, up here, the dynamic is a little bit different than a lot of the states around us. So, like, trade unions are a little bit stronger, and, like, labor guys make a lot of money. I mean, and a journeyman electrician will make 80, 90 grand up here in Minnesota. So, like, it's, yeah. But anyway, I don't know. It's a great place to live. Honestly, I tell myself that I want to move because of the winters sometime, but I end up just staying here.
The winter's so cold. I lived in Boston for 6 years. I lived in New Jersey my whole life until I went to Boston and then now Texas. And I can say I don't miss the winters. I think they call it snowbird when you go and it's the summer in the north.
Yep, that is what they call it.
You might be a snowbird here in the future.
I would be against it, man. We had a stretch this last winter where I think we had 2 weeks where it was like a negative 35 plus wind chill.
Plus the wind chill, yeah, it's like legit negative 50.
And it was insane. I mean, I don't know, going out, it felt like you were going to die when you went outside. So it was pretty brutal.
Have you ever seen, I've said this on another podcast, I want to say it was like 2016, 17, 18 maybe, this time period. There were these photos and it said, is this the movie The Day After Tomorrow, or is this the city of Chicago?
Oh.
Of course, Chicago's a different state, but like I was like, yeah, and I feel like Minnesota's right up there.
Oh, it is. I mean, it's crazy, man. This was early March. We got, what was it? I think 11 inches of snow.
Yeah.
For like a random snowstorm at like early March. I mean, it just comes to the territory up here.
That's a whole other level. But pivoting back to your fix and flip journey. So at that point in time, contractor, fix and flip, did your first deal, you get proof of concept, make some money on that deal, you have your investor and friend. You must be on cloud nine after that first deal. What was the next steps for you? What was the next steps?
Yeah, so I actually, the next step, funny enough, I started reaching out to other people in my network that were agents because I was like, okay, I want to build a little bit of like a deal flow, do some more networking. I'm a firm believer that for most operators, networking is going to be the key to not only deal flow, but finding buyers and good contractors, et cetera, et cetera. And I actually connected with a guy that I had went to school with. I was an agent in a town a couple hours away where I went to school for a couple years. And he had a great pocket listing. And I decided to say the heck with it. And I actually I lived out of my car more or less while I was down there flipping the place. I was either sleeping on couches, I slept in my car a bunch, or I was commuting back and forth to get the next deal done. Just so you know, we had made some money on that first deal, but we still didn't have a ton of money, and we were really trying to bootstrap this thing to get it going. But yeah, so I transitioned down to that area and did the next deal. And I actually, that is the area that I now live and operate in.
Wow. Okay, so you were all in, quite literally,
Oh yeah.
in this deal. And so at this point, you talk about practically sleeping out of your car. Walk us through kind of the mind state and your thoughts day to day. That's a really unique position to be in. What was it like?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Well, there's a kind of a couple moving parts. I mean, first of all, I think in my mind, I knew that as long as I was intentional, if I outworked other people, I was going to be able to have success. So, I mean, sometimes, if you can't be the smartest person, if you can at least try to educate yourself and then outwork other people, you're going to have success. So that was a big part of that, where I just knew, I was like, hey, I'm going to put my head down. I'm just going to get this done, and I will learn by fire, because I want to do something different. I really wanted to, like I said, establish a life that was more time and financial freedom, just because, I'd seen enough, people in my sphere of influence and family that wasn't the case. And the idea of being, retiring at 65 only to die a couple of years later and not having lived any life was actually terrifying to me.
Yeah, me too.
So that motivated me like crazy, man. It really did.
I'm with you. I mean, people talk about working. This is a thing for me, is I have been blessed enough and fortunate enough to have traveled, and I've seen what life is like. And, talk about, you don't need to be on a beach somewhere, but you can be living basically a free lifestyle where you're able to do what you want on your own time.
Oh, for sure.
And I'd rather do that and, take Zoom calls and close deals when I'm young than when I can no longer, go for a run.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I always tell people, like, yeah, I do work a lot still because I'm really pushing and trying to grow what we have. But I love it because if I want to take a 2-hour lunch and, hang out at home with, like the wife and the baby or something, I'll just go take a couple-hour lunch. Yeah. I mean, like, there is that baked-in freedom that you can get to if you grow stuff and develop stuff the right way.
Absolutely. Talk about time freedom. It seems like in your story here, you get the first deal, get the second deal, and this is now at this point you're full time. Basically, I'm going to be a fix and flipper. Was that the thought process then?
Yeah. So I was putting full-time hours in the fix and flip, and then I was also doing side construction jobs as well to, like, keep bringing in income to make sure I could keep, like, paying my bills, trying to save money. So I was doing both when I first started.
Okay. Walk us through how that's even possible.
It's called working 100 hours a week.
Okay. a sample day. Like walk us through wake up
Oh,
time, everything.
yeah,
you do in
you
the
know,
day.
wake up like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. You start working, and you essentially work all day. And I would base my rehab activities around if I had dry times or I had to wait on vendors or anything like that. And then you had either sprinkle in other jobs during the day, or I would go help out other there were other investors that I was doing stuff for at night. Or a lot of times, 10 o'clock, midnight, stuff like that. I'd be doing work at other properties for people. Um, just because I didn't have I had a very like poor financial basis personally when I had started. My credit was shot. I didn't have a lot in savings. Like, I mean, I was young and dumb and didn't really grow up in a sphere of like a lot of financial literacy. So I was kind of
Most don't.
yeah. So I was kind of working uphill, I guess. And that's what it felt like it took to be able to, I didn't want to, do a flip and take all the money and pocket it. I mean, how
Yeah.
was I going to do the next deal? So I was planning on just reinvesting everything we made. So everything I needed to live, I was doing on top of that. And obviously, I'm not saying that's like good or healthy or right for anybody. But I mean, if you're willing to put in the work, there's always a pathway to accelerate a process and make it happen.
I mean, shoot, I'm with you. I am with you. I feel like, if you're not willing to, I hate to say it, but if you're not willing to go all in and risk it, you might not get it. You might
Oh, for
not.
sure. Well, I mean, if there's that quote of if you want to have things that other people don't have, you have to be willing to do things that they're not willing to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's really what it boils down to. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they hit that 40-hour mark and they kind of want to tap out for the week. And especially in today's climate, I think if you really want to get ahead, you're going to have to put an extra effort, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, that your story outdoes mine by a large margin. I would love to be on the fix and flip space doing what you're doing. That sounds like a real hustle right there. But on my end, when I had gotten a couple wholesale deals done at the end of last year into this year, and then had saved up enough money to put myself to real estate school. But I only had a set period of time, and they recommend that you do it over like a period of months. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna get this knocked out in
You're like, I
3
need to get this
weeks.
done.
Yeah. And they're like, well, we actually don't recommend that because it's going to be 14-hour days and you live an hour away. So I was waking up, not at that time, but I'd be waking up at like 6 a.m., driving there, getting there at, 7:30 that time, getting settled in, 8 p.m. up until 10 p.m. were my classes for 3 full weeks. And then
I
I would
love it.
drive back and I would get back at like 11 roughly. And dude, when I tell you that I was like, dude, I might die. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I could stroke out and die doing this, but at least I gave it my full
Hey,
effort, and I
I,
made it
I
through.
love that though, man. Because most people aren't going to be willing to do that. And I think, like we were just saying, if you want to get ahead, like you got to be willing to do the extra effort. So I know that's great. I love hearing that.
That was my actual thought, Cody, because one of those mornings I was like, dude, my actual body doesn't feel like I can take much more of this, but hey, if I die, then at least I was trying to make it in the real
Die
estate.
trying, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's funny.
God bless. But expanding to the business, right? So
Yeah.
your first two deals, you're finished with those first two deals, massive weight off your chest. Second deal was, talk about working round the clock, living there practically. At that point, you've done two deals. You found the deals, you found the partners, you flipped it. What was the next step? Were you like, hey, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to do multiple flips. How did the next steps progress for you?
Yeah, so the transition after that actually went into starting to rehab more places, but then also sprinkling in some small multifamily. So basically the progression was, we kept doing flips. I was still doing kind of side work on the side as well, because like I said, I was looking to reinvest all of my money back into the business as much as possible. I didn't want to take living proceeds out of the flips at that point, because I knew it would really new to the growth. And then, like I said, so doing that and then sprinkling in small multifamily. And then as we progress, we primarily focus on doing value add right now on small multifamily. I still do a few rehabs a year that we actually sell. But more of our focus now is actually on essentially flipping small multifamily that's heavily distressed.
Small multifamily, heavily distressed. This is a very niche avatar, specifically in Minnesota. I think you probably have cornered off the market there pretty good. I like it when people are really able to drill down into something like small multifamily, distressed Minnesota. How many people are doing that? Like there's only so many.
It doesn't feel like a ton of people. And to be honest, I think a lot of people like the idea of doing these type of things, and they're not that good at underwriting, and they're not very good at like the back end, running comps, knowing how to renovate, et cetera, et cetera. So like, having it dialed in, I think you can see a ton of success with it. I love the model. I think it, honestly, I think it's a really untapped sector right now as well, because we have higher interest rates, spaces feel kind of competitive, and numbers don't look great. I think there's a ton of opportunity for places that are, distressed and under rented, that you can still get great deals where you can really drive your net worth and have some like really strong cash flowing assets.
Do you have a favorite area of Minnesota to buy in?
So Mankato is primarily where we're buying stuff in right now. But I do have stuff in the tertiary cities around there too. And I mean, they each kind of have their own quirks, but I mean, this area, I really do enjoy it. We get really high quality tenants. And the pricing metrics seem to work really well. And it's really accessible. I mean, we bought a house we've bought 2 houses for under 30 grand in the last couple months. I mean, you know what I mean? So you can really get into stuff at like really accessible price points as well, which is nice.
Yeah, you're making me want to go take a look at deals on there. I got to get on the MLS out there, I suppose. I don't know. Cody, we are coming up on time here. Where can folks go to get a hold of you?
Yeah, for sure. So the 2 primary places is my Instagram and YouTube. I don't have a ton of stuff on my YouTube yet. I just started posting on there, and I've been trying to post a little more prolifically on Instagram. But those are the 2 primary places. Then I have links in my Instagram bio as well. If you want to DM me and you have questions, or you're interested in diving deeper with me and looking at doing something together.
Cody, thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was great. It was a very fun conversation.
Absolutely.
Hey, heck yeah.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.